Okay, so one of my videos just crashed, so let's try this one more time. So this is video 3. Um, so Alondra, let's look here and see what we got. I think that a couple of things going on. You have the walk cycle that feels like it's walking in place. I would probably just go ahead and have it walk forward. Or either that or the camera is walking in place. But go ahead and have it just start from a step back and take a step forward. Because all the parts are in there, it's just not actually moving forward. And then I think your steps to the side are actually looking relatively good. I don't think you're shifting quite enough though. And so if I open this up in QuickTime, we can scrub. You're going to see that, like there, when the character lifts its foot up, it's like it's not shifting its foot over, it's not shifting the weight over at all right there. And so little things like that, I think it shifts it here, but I think you could still shift it a little bit more. And so this little dance it's doing kind of feels like it needs a little bit more weight shift work on it. And then again, I think it's kind of like you see the head just kind of turn and hit that wall. Again, I think that's the, if you have a keyframe here, keyframe here, keyframe here, and a keyframe here, then you're getting these like straight lines here. I think I've already talked about this with somebody else's. And it's, kind of doing that. And what you really want it to do is maybe a little bit more like, that. So you get sort of like this ease into here and this ease into here, and you just got to push those up and down a little bit to make that happen. So that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing on yours, and it just feels like it's like you feel it just kind of hits a wall there and stops. And so either having it overshoot or just it's like a one angle or one section in your graph editor is just going to be traveling and then it's just going to flatten out, and that's just not what you want to happen. You want it to either overshoot it or you want it to ease into it. So that's the biggest thing I see on that is those 2 points. Spencer. So yours is looking pretty good. I watched it earlier. Let's see here. I think your weight shift's looking good. You got a couple of hitches in it, and I'm sure you've probably seen them. You can kind of go back and look at them. Like this one here with the head, just kind of pops. And to me, that just means you probably have 2 keyframes right beside each other, and they just pop over one frame. You got a couple little like that. Like he's like, what's he doing with his weight? How does he shift his weight over if he's not pushing on anything right there? And so he just needed to already have his weight kind of over there before he picked up his leg. It's kind of doing. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. So kind of play around with that a little bit. I think overall the issue that I would address on here is I think in most cases you're not really tilting the hips enough. So when the character is maybe scooting over a leg far enough, but they're not really raising the hip when they do. And I see this a lot. Let's see on this big step here. Yeah. So that leg comes up, right? But the hips are still kind of straight across. And I think if you just had a little bit more like this, you'd get this larger mass of character, putting its weight over there. And this would just feel a little bit more balanced. Sorry, this is playing back really slow when I draw on it. So you'd get that weight shift, and that would just feel a little bit more balanced with the way that motion's happening. So I'd say play a little bit with the angle, and then I think just polish the curves a little bit more. You got some stuff kind of hitting and kind of hitting a wall and like plateauing out too. And so I think you could kind of work a little bit with what overlaps, and that would help a little bit. Stephanie, open with. So I believe there's a chance you've had an issue that someone had told me about. I don't know if they were talking about you or somebody else, but it kind of looks from the jump like you may be animating the master controller, and that's why the feet are kind of sliding around a little bit when it hits. So if that's an issue, then we kind of know how to fix that. But I think a little bit of is like keeping those feet on the ground a little bit more there as he pushes off. Kind of contacting the ground a little bit earlier before he connects. That will help on the jump. Um, the steps are a little bit of an issue though, because you got a couple spots where, like here, where both feet are off the ground, and you just have to be careful with that. Like you really have to be able to plant one foot before the other foot can come off the ground. And then of course, like you got this pose here where the weight is really too far over um, the wrong hip to be passing that weight. So it's kind of got some sections there where it's defying gravity a little bit, and you need to kind of work a little bit more with the weight shifting to make that make more sense. And I think you could do just a little bit more of like sort of breaking out the pose to posiness of this. Like the character hits these walls all at the same time. Like that pose just all hits at the same time. And if the head just hit a little bit later and then the foot hit a little bit after that at that pose, it would just feel a little bit looser and a little more fluid. Okay, and then Victoria, I guess watch this one. Open with quick time. Come on, I'll just play it. There we go. So I think this one is you have a couple of decent weight shifts here. Like you really are keeping the hips over that leg for a while before you shift it over, and then you kind of do it again here. Like you don't really anticipate over the other leg very much for this. So I probably would sort of pull it over your left leg a little bit more before he takes this step. So the weight shift doesn't feel that great on that one. So you can do a little bit more with the weight shift here and a little bit more with the weight shift here. I think the bigger issue with this one is sort of that stuff sort of locking in place. So like watch how the head moves here. The head hits that point, sort of hesitates, hits that point, hesitates, hits that point, and hesitates. And so it's like I can almost see the poses too clearly here. Some of that's just that you hit a point and then there's no change over a period of time. It just stays the same. And so like you will see in the upper body and the arms here, your character bends to here and then just none of that stuff moves for like 2 or 3 seconds. And so just having that little bit of we call it keep alive, where nothing ever freezes. Like this pose here, like nothing changes for 3 or 4 frames, and so this feels like you're still like kind of in blocking and still need to do pretty significant amount of work in the curves. The poses are actually really strong. Like you actually get some really good poses in here, but that's you're actually getting this kind of leading with the head turn and stuff like that. But it really does just need a little bit more polish on getting the curves to act the way you want them to. So, okay, so hopefully that got everybody. I only have 14 assignments turned in now, so I think that there's a chance I haven't, somebody hasn't turned one in, or they sent it to me in an email and I've overlooked it or something. But if so, I'll have to get that one later. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. I'll post these and hopefully get your grades up as well. So let me know if you have any questions, and if you need any more feedback on these specifically, feel free to swing by my office. Thanks. Bye.